Hey, my handsome ladies and gentlemen, this is Shmeaty. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. Speaking of welcome, we have entered Season 21, the Dual Destiny season, and I decided for the first team that I was going to run, I wasn't going to find something serious, I wasn't going to redefine the meta. No, we just want to punch people a lot. So I have Shadow Haunter with Shadow Punch and Ice Punch, Lopunny with Fire Punch and Ice Beam, and Medicham with Ice Punch and Dynamic Punch, and we're looking to punch the entire Great League meta for all the pain it's caused us in the past few seasons. If you find enjoyment in today's video, please feel free to leave it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, but I won't keep you too much longer. Let's just get into the games. We're going to be kicking things off with game number 1. It's going to be Haunter leading into Meganium. This is actually surprisingly a good lead for Haunter. Haunter, especially when the Meganium is running Magic Leaf. Meganium really prefers to run Vine Whip, but is going to be able to build up to an Ice Punch well before they make a move, and it one-shots the Meganium. Meganium, pretty renowned for its bulkiness, especially as a non-shadow, just gets deleted by an Ice Punch. In comes an Azelf. Azelf also gets deleted by a Shadow Punch, and we are off to a tremendous start in this first game. In the back, they're going to have an Absol. We are seeing a bit of an interesting team comp from the opponent, and that's just because it's literal day 1 of the season when these battles are being recorded. And so they're probably pairing me with people they think are of relative skill, which are people that run Absol. Feels bad. In the next game, it's going to be Haunter leading into Blacephalon. I was expecting Incinerate. It's Astonish, and I get deleted in 3 Astonishes. In comes the Lopunny looking for that juicy double kick down. This is going to be a Mystical Fire, but it's a Blacephalon with 1200 stat product. It may as well hit as if it's an overheat. We're going to shield it up, and we are down to shield, and we don't have switch advantage. In the back, it's going to be a Dragonite. We're going to switch into the Medicham, and Medicham has its work cut out for it. Looking to build up to a move. Unfortunately, I throw the move at bad timing. It's a CMP tie, which I will lose to the Dragonite. I'm going to get off this Ice Punch and just hope that the Dragonite doesn't respect it at this point. I don't have very many options. Dragonite is aware, of course, of the Ice Punch coverage. They're going to fire off a move. This is only going to be a Dragon Claw, and they're non-shadow, so I will easily be able to live that Dragon Claw and now reach for double Ice Punch. Ice Punch number 1 going to do some solid damage if they do not shield it, and of course they are looking to reach another move, but in 2 more Psycho Cuts we have another Ice Punch. The pacing on Psycho Cut to Ice Punch is very, very nice. Ice Punch takes care of the Dragonite, and it's going to be a Electros in the back, and we bank the Hyper Beam, so this Electros will not be here for long. GG's to this trainer. In the next game, Haunter leads into a non-shadow shiny Gardevoir. Oh my goodness, what is happening? I was actually really concerned it was going to be on like Confusion or something, because these are like in a row the games that I had so far. Superior comes in, we'll have to shield up an Ice Punch, and now we're going to bring in the Lopunny. Lopunny, a lot of people's favorite Pokemon for reasons I cannot talk about on a YouTube video. I'm going to send the Fire Punch at the Superior. They're going to shield it up, and it is only now that I'm realizing this Superior is on not only Grass Knot, but Iron Tail as well. Oh my goodness. We're going to build up to the Hyper Beam. Superior is going to have to just eat this move because they have no shields remaining. Back in comes that Gardevoir. And Gardevoir, we're just going to aggro pivot the Haunter here, and it's going to be a Primarina in back. Oh my goodness, the damage that we're taking right now is unreal, but that's perfectly fine. Shadow Punch takes out the Primarina in 1 shot, and we're bringing back in the Lopunny. Once again, battle of people's favorite Pokemon for reasons we cannot mention in a YouTube video. Down goes the Gardevoir. GG's to this trainer. Next up, another good lead for the Shadow Haunter. It's going to be a Clodsire, and Clodsire hitting for double resisted Poison Sting damage. Not a big fan of this matchup. We're going to build up past the Ice Punch, and they actually attempt to catch, so the players we're going up against and getting matched with are gaining a little bit of sentience here. They're going to bring in a Shadow Feraligatr, land a Shadow Claw, and you see how low my Haunter got after 1 Shadow Claw. Look at the HP on my Haunter right now. That is taking massively resisted Poison Sting damage and 1 Shadow Claw. Anyway, Lopunny comes in, tanks a Hydro Cannon from the Feraligatr. Feraligatr, no shields! Are they familiar with Hyper Beam counts? They just call me and say no ball. They just called that I had no nuke move. Anyway, they're going to bring in a Gooner in the back, and Gooner It's looking like some toothpaste, but it is going to get squeezed by a Hyper Beam. Down goes the Gooner, and now back in comes the Feraligatr. It's going to be tasked with Shadow Clawing down a Lopunny. That's a pretty tough task though. And here, win con is pretty clear here. Just bring in the Haunter, take massive damage from Shadow Claws, farm them down, but now I have an Ice Punch. And honestly, I'm in a range where I'm probably going to get Poison Stung down. Even though I'm healthy and double resisting the Poison Stings, still probably got to switch out here. They're going to fire off a move. It's likely to be the Earthquake. They have zero incentive to bait me here. It's the Earthquake, doesn't do enough damage, and they are going to quit the match. GG's. What awaits us in the next game? Haunter into Drapion. This is a terrible lead. I'm going to switch out into the Lopunny, I guess eventually here. I guess I'm looking to fire off an Ice Punch here first. I would win CMP on 5, so that's perfectly fine. They actually go for a little bit of an overfarm there. I'm going to switch into the Lopunny now that I've grabbed the shield. And this is going to probably just be a crunch. I'm going to let it go. It is just going to be the crunch. They probably get the debuff on me. They actually don't. We love to see it. It's going to be Altaria in the back, and unfortunately, this is really uncomfortable because Lopunny prefers to run Triple Axle in most instances, but we're on Hyper Beam. They let it go. This trainer must not like that Altaria very much. We're going to fire off a Fire Punch now. Fire Punch will not do any damage at all to the Altaria. I can't even cope about that fact. Now this is tricky. I can't really come in with the Haunter because Haunter would get shredded in the time it would take for us to get to a move. I'm going to actually bring in the Haunter and just shield up a move. Fortunately, they are throwing a move, which means that I'm getting some additional Shadow Claw damage on them. I just let it go. Oh my goodness, the savagery. Out comes an Umbreon, and this is going to be an uphill battle if ever there were one. We're going to need, I think, 3 moves to KO this Umbreon, as the first Dynamic Punch is not going to be doing half, so we are going to need 3 moves to KO, and I think we have to save shields. It's so tricky. We are going to continue building up to that next Dynamic Punch. They're already at another move. I'm going to let this one go as well, and now we are going to fire off an Ice Punch bait here, hoping to grab that final shield from this opponent because I believe they should see that this Umbreon is their win con, but they call my Ice Punch bait. Not very good for me. I'm not doing very much of any fast move pressure, so they could have easily no-shielded that and lived. For some reason, they no-shield again. It's going to be the Drapion coming back in, and now I think I'm just too low. They bring in the Altaria. I have to commit to the farm down, but I cannot get it. GG's. Next up, it's going to be Shadow Haunter into Ampharos, and this is actually the game where I was like, huh, I forgot one of the elemental punches that got buffed, didn't I? This is supposed to be an elemental punch theme team video, and I didn't include one of the elemental punches that got buffed. We're going to grab a shield, forcing a shield from that Ampharos. Ampharos probably still on Brutal Swing as it's a very solid move. They're actually going to Trailblaze my Lopunny. In comes a Medicham. This one's on counter, and we're just going to build up to it and send it. We don't get there. That's so terrible. Haunter comes in looking for that Shadow Punch. This Shadow Punch, if no shielded, would do massive damage to the Medicham, and we don't have very much damage for this Medicham, so we are very happy to see that they no shielded, and now an Ice Punch will KO, but you are getting Psycho Cut down. I never thought I'd see another Mirror in my life after like 10 seasons ago. Nevertheless, an Ice Punch is going to connect, not doing very much of any damage onto our Medicham. We get that Psycho Cut down, leaving with an Ice Punch and a half. Back in comes the Ampharos, and they'll have to give up a shield immediately if they want to keep this Ampharos alive, as it's very glassy in the Great League. That Ice Punch would easily KO, and in the back it's going to be a Jumpluff. We have the back-to-back Ice Punches here, but we will need 3 as this opponent has a shield. Ice Punch number 1 is going to do okay damage. We're now getting them down to half HP, so they're going to be forced to shield up this second Ice Punch. And now, do they have a move? They are going to be able to CMP tie us with the Aerial Ace, and we just have to build up to one final Ice Punch. We should easily be able to get it. I shield up in case it's an Acrobatics. A sneaky Acrobatics would basically just one-shot us from there. They are going to CMP tie us. They live on 1 HP, but you know what? I am a savage. I'm calling this is an Aerial Ace, and I will live it. We live that Aerial Ace, no problem. Farm down the Jumpluff, and that's a GG. In the next game, Haunter is going to find a Guzzlord on lead. Terrible lead. I'm going to have to switch out into my Lopunny immediately, and this double kick damage will start adding up. They're going to bring in their Primeape. Primeape is not very happy no shielding any moves, and this could very well be a triple axle that I built up to, so they are going to shield it up. I am just going to always just call that they're going to go for a Rage Fist here. They have to send a CC to KO me here. It's just the Rage Fist. That's not going to be enough. They're going to build up to another move. I'm going to call this one as well, as again, you need a CC to KO me here. I'm not shielding a Rage Fist. The Rage Fist double resisted, not doing very much of any damage, and we make it to another Fire Punch. This would do some solid damage onto the Primeape if they decide to no shield. We make it to the Fire Punch but get KO'd. Unfortunately, we don't get the damage registration error there to get our move off, but that's okay. At this point, we're going to bring in the Medicham. Unfortunately, this is a 2-stage boosted Primeape, so that Rage Fist hits for over 60% of our Medicham's health. This is going to be another move that we're going to have to shield up now, as the pacing on Rage Fist is absolutely insane. I was really hoping they were 4 away, but they were 3 away. I'm going for an Ice Punch undercharge, looking for the farm down on the Primeape. Are we going to be able to get it? We get the farm down, and we are still in this game. In comes a Jumpluff, and as we've seen, Jumpluff, not the biggest fan of taking an Ice Punch, even from a Medicham with a very low attack stat. We're going to bring in the Haunter. There are no shields remaining for this trainer. They're going to bring in the Guzzlord. Since they threw their energy immediately here, this is an opportunity. We're going to commit the shield, and now we're going to overfarm by 4 Shadow Claws, 1 shy of the back-to-back Ice Punches, and this Ice Punch needs to KO this Guzzlord. It hasn't taken very much damage, but it does take all the damage it needs to get KO'd with that Ice Punch, and we have one loaded for the Jumpluff as well, so Shadow Haunter just delivering the smoke. GG's to this trainer. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we are core broken by a Scizor on the next match. It is going to be a pretty uncomfortable game here. We're going to switch out into the Lopunny, the only real answer on the team. They're going to bring in a Turtonator, and Turtonator on Incinerate is going to get outpaced. We make the Hyper Beam, and now generally Lopunny doesn't have very many moves that can hit this, but it does massive damage. They had a move there, I'm pretty sure. They were at 60 energy, decided not to throw it, get farmed down in the process, and it's going to be a Jellicent in the back. This is absolutely terrible. Unfortunately, this Jellicent means that both of our Lopunny and our Medicham's charge move pressure is completely walled. And if I just bring in my Haunter, they're just going to switch out into their Scizor. And that's not really a play that I can allow. We double up on the Fire Punches, saving them for later. Hopefully we can land a Fire Punch on that Scizor later in the game. But now we are going to be trying to build up 2 triple Ice Punch with the Medicham. This is so much copium in one game. We're going to fire off an Ice Punch. Ice Punch going to land onto the Jellicent for some okay damage. Unfortunately, everything we have here is resisted outside of the Psycho Cuts. Our Lopunny's completely walled, so we got it out of this matchup. And now we're going to have to bring in the Haunter, but this Jellicent has some loaded energy. And unfortunately, we're going to need to go for this farm down because Scizor has some loaded energy as well. Are we going to no-shield this? No, we're going to have to commit this, and now we're going to fire off a Shadow Punch. It's a CMP tie with the Scizor. I believe they threw 1 additional Bullet Punch. I think they had a move already, but the CMP tie is everything for us. This just means that we're going to be able to get the Fire Punch to land on this Scizor. Their Jellicent got KO'd a moment ago, and here it is. We're going to fire off the Fire Punch. It one-shots the Scizor, not even Shadow. GG's to this trainer. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me, and so too does all your guys' support coming into the new Season 21. I hope to get a lot more videos out to you guys this season. I already have the team that I want to run for my next video in mind, and I'm just going to play those games right after recording the audio for this video, and try to get that video out to you guys relatively soon. That being said, if you found enjoyment in today's video, please feel free to let me know in the comments section below. As well, you guys can let me know if there are any move updates that you want to see featured on the channel. I definitely have one in mind, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun this season. Let me know what you think of these move updates, but I've been Shmeaty. Thanks again so much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time, and have a good rest of your day.